got here is this part here is pretty darn solid. This part here is hinged right here, and it's going to need to be pretty solid, but I can't tighten it too much until I tighten it over here, because this is going to be my adjustment. So I can put a little bit on it, but I don't want to put so much tightening that I can't pull this out here and lock that into place, which needs to be locked here. Now the good thing about it, I don't have to hold, well, maybe I do have to hold the wrench on the other end. It would be nice to have something that I could prise like right down there, and that would be a good place to prise by. Let me get something to prise with. This long screwdriver should do. So I'm going to put this here and lean back on that. I'm going to tighten this. I'm also going to go ahead and tighten this now. Now that's pretty solid. Now, at one time I was trying to get a bolt in here through the water pump here. And I might still could if I felt like I needed to, because there is a little play right here. But if I did that, it would involve, I think I would literally have to cut this hole, because this didn't really fit there. When I put that in there, not everything didn't line up. Now, what I could do, this is a, I have to think about this, because see, what this would involve would be putting a spacer in between that and that. It would also, if I did this, it's going to kick the top of this out slightly. I have this spacer, which I had on here at one point, and it kicked it in slightly. I could do a combination of this spacer and a bunch of washers here, and then put a long bolt in through here. But right now that doesn't really line up, so I'm going to have to, if I did that, I'm going to have to wallow this hole out. I may do none of that. I may just keep it like it is. It may be good enough like it is, as long as it stays put. And I've got two connection points here. I've got one over here on the manifold, and I got that one, so that may be fine. That is yet to be determined whether or not we're going to go with that. I did go ahead and put this plug in right here. That basically plugged off this water hole out of here. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to temporarily plug this hole here. That is the other place where the heater hose will connect. I think I've got a plug right here. It'll fit into that nicely. And I'll probably also plug here, and I think I've got another plug for that. I'm not sure where. I have to look around. It might be in my other water pump box, or it might be in this box of screws. And that's another thing I'm going to be doing is, at some point I'll kind of go through all these screws, pick out, you know, like if I had that other plug that was this size, I'd pick it out. I'm pretty sure I've got that plug somewhere. I might have to look for it. It could be over here in this box. Could be. I might have to sit y'all down while I look for that plug. I'm pretty sure I know I got it. Pretty sure I don't know I know. Pretty sure I don't know where it is at the moment. hey, that's the way I am. Okay, I'll cut y'all off while I explore that, because I'm thinking after that, oh, I got to put the exhaust manifold on the other side, but after that I think I might be, well, I got to put the exhaust manifold on the other side. I've got to put the temperature gauge in over there. I should go ahead and put these plug wires back on before I forget where they were. Because I set these plug wires in such a way that this one goes here, this one goes here, this one goes here, and then this one goes here. And what I'm going to want to do is get me a, we call it a loom, I think. Basically it's a little thing that pulls all these wires up. I may want to put this one down through here. I suppose I could push these up behind those valve cover things, those T-bolts, keep them out of the way temporarily until I get me a loom to put them on. That way I can run it without worrying about burning those things up. So I'll move around to the other side. I'll put the other manifold on it, and then I'll give me a chance to spot that other plug. If I don't find a plug for this, I'll stick a hose on there and put a bolt in the end of it. That is going to be temporary anyway, because we will go with a, we will eventually be going with a radiator hose that goes down into the, goes into the heater on the Rambler. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Okay, so once again, this back one, I'll put way back here. In fact, I'll put it all the way up here. The second one, I'll put down here. This third one, I will put over here. And this fourth one, actually I'm saying that backwards because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, I'll make it too complicated. I'll put that one up there. Now I should be able to sit that manifold in there with a gasket. Get a gasket. I got this one right here, and I'm going to need some bolts. Some bolts in my hand. So what I'll do is I'll get a couple of these bolts ready, which means that each one of them gets 2 washers, 2 of these flat, I'll call them zinc washers, and it gets 1 of these stainless lock washers. Okay, something I should have done before I did this. Maybe I should have blown all these holes out, squirted some, I use a carburetor cleaner, sometimes squeeze just, but I probably should have done that here. Probably should have done on the other side too, but I didn't. Sometimes when you have something sitting around like an engine, you get dirt dauber's nest or something up in these holes. Sometimes a good idea to clean the holes out before and run a bolt down in them to make sure that they're clean. And I think the carburetor cleaner and the air compressor line are pretty good for that sort of thing. You can see dirt coming out of that. I guess this is a good time to get my bolts ready too. Get my washers and lock washers and everything all set up like I need to go. Sometimes you get paint and insulation. What's that stuff? The stuff you put on. Sealant, former gasket, Permatax, whatever you call it. Sometimes you get that stuff in there too. And you've probably heard me say this before. One of the best things you can have going for you when you're doing any kind of work like this is patience. I wasn't good with patience when I was young. My dad used to talk about patience a lot. It wasn't a part of my natural makeup. In my older age, though, I've gotten better at having patience, and it's helped me a lot to be able to do things without making such a mess, or without creating so much dissatisfaction on my part, you know. So now that we've done that, I think we might be ready to take all these out and put the manifold on. And once in a while, you'll have one of these that will have warped. These arms here, I've seen them before. There's three sections here, and I've seen them where they warp so that they won't fit. And they make a manifold spreader, which is basically it's a threaded bit with threads in the middle, and you stick it between here and you turn it, and it squeezes the sides out, and it can lengthen the distance. Sometimes one of these might be warped just enough where it's really hard to get those bolts in, and you can put that manifold spreader on there and turn that thing and drive these apart enough to get a bolt to go in there. Luckily, alright, now you remember which wires went where? Well, I believe this one right here, this one right here, this one right here, and then we got this other one, straight end, that was here. Okay. Next thing we need to do is stop up that hole up on the intake manifold. Both this one, which is where the temperature gauge is going to go, and this one, where I need that plug to fit into. And I wonder, there it is, maybe, nope. Let's look at what this is. This might be what I was looking for the other day when I was trying to find, that may be the plug for that. I was up at the parts store the other day trying to find one of these. That fits this. Yeah, sure is. So that's going to be that. I had the guys at the parts store driving themselves crazy the other day trying to find something like that, and there it is. So, all I need now is one more of these. But I still need a plug for that, and this plug can stay in here for now. Yep, another trip to the parts store coming up.